Ohio, Ohio, Ohio gozaimasu! Welcome everybody back to the Life of the Party podcast. I'm your boy MC Ricky. This is episode 4, and we're talking about the BMO Music Fest 2009. We've already gone through 1, 2, 3, 4. The first episode was called The Beginnings. The second was called The Wonder Years. The third episode was called Let's Get It Started. And now we're talking about the BMO Music Fest 2009. Now, there was a BMO Music Fest in 2008, but 2008 was actually the first year that I got into party promotion and being an MC. So while I believe that I was ready to take on that tremendous opportunity, I was unable to MC the 2008 BMO Music Fest. Some notable artists from the 2008 BMO Music Fest was Soulja Boy, you had Flo Rida, you had Genuine, you had Trey Songz, Bobby Valentino, Hurricane Chris, Gorilla Zoe, and Fabo from D4L. What's really kind of interesting and cool is that there's a number of artists that I ended up just MCing for and later on that I'll probably talk about in other episodes of this particular party promotion, Positive Productions. But for the 2009 BMO Music Fest, this is about a little bit up after a year removed from when I started being an MC. Like I mentioned in Let's Get It Started episode, my first experience as part of being an MC was at Club B, the promotion group that I was a part of. SBE Straight Vega Entertainment was doing a number of events every second and fourth Friday at Club B in Yokohama. Once again, shout out to everybody in Yokohama. We also would support this particular party called Jewels by Request. Positive Productions was behind this event, and then a lot of promoters that actually helped support it. That's a big part of how I got known, because I had opportunities to work at Yokohama Bay Hall at this concert venue. Basically, I was asked, hey, could you be a host MC for the BMO Music Fest? So I knew it was on the horizon. I knew it was coming. There have been kind of whispers about, okay, who is going to be able to host it or add something to it, which is all I try to do. I just try to add my own spice to things and see things from the customer's perspective, because I always harken back to when I was a customer and I was going to a concert, like I mentioned in episode number 2, when I used to go see Nelly when I was in college. I saw T.I. and I saw a number of other artists in concert venues, and I remember just how they used to call out to the crowd, how I used to connect, and I wanted that ultimate responsibility to be the one to show people a good time before, during, and after the artist does his thing. When I got that call, like I said, I've always been humble, let my work speak for itself, and I think that's the reason why I was offered the job. My promotion group was pretty hot during this time. Like I said, this is in a hip-hop circle. I've mentioned this in other episodes. There are other circles of which now I'm a part of, whether they're bigger or smaller, however you want to look at it, that's up to you. But this particular circle was a hip-hop circle, so we are pretty big in that circuit of music. We had a following, so of course they would use us to help support the event, and other promotion groups as well. So I got the call. I'm so excited. And I remember the BMO Music Fest was actually being held at Zep Tokyo on a Thursday, and also it was being held in Okinawa, but that was on the weekend, on a Saturday and Sunday. But I was booked to be a master of ceremonies on this particular Thursday. At this time, I was working, of course, as well as I was playing basketball and doing a mist of other things while, I was booked to do this job. But I made sure my schedule was clear, absolutely clear for this. And I'm like, as soon as I found out, I was like, okay, I need to make sure I have nothing going on for that Wednesday night, that Thursday, and that Friday. The reason behind that is because there was a welcome party for all the artists. Now all the artists showed up for the welcome party. If memory serves me correct. Now, bear with me, all right, everybody. So this is going back years. Like I said, it's 2020 right now. Happy holidays to everybody, by the way. You can see I got the MC Ricky hat. Thanks, Mom and Dad. My mom and dad actually support me. Big shout out to them. Love them so much. Both me and my brother love them. And they got me this hat, says MC Ricky on it. And then because of the holidays, hey, I got some decorations for the background. So, that's what I'm talking about. So happy holidays to everybody out there. But yeah, so once again, it's going back years, all right? Like I said, it's happened in 2009, and here it is, 2020. So there was a welcome party, and I remember Lil Jon. Actually, Lil Jon was a guest host, and he was DJing because he was one of the artists that was booked for the BMO Music Fest. So I had to make sure I was able to be there because I was a host MC for that, which was the night before. Mind you, I live in the Fusa City area, which is about an hour and a half drive to the Tokyo metropolitan area where the welcome party was located. So if you're driving late at night, you can get there about 45 minutes to an hour. By train, it's about an hour and a half. So I had a hotel booked so that I can get to the welcome party, have a good time, make sure I turn people up, and then get back to the hotel and get ready because I got to get there early, all right? The artists that were booked for the BMO Music Fest for 2009, Shaggy was the headliner. For those that remember, he's had some really, really great music over the years. His music probably kind of touched the most people, more broad. Of course, you had Little John. You had Pitbull, which I was excited to see. I'd never seen Pitbull live. I was excited to have the opportunity to introduce him and see what all his performance was about. You also had Omarion. I think we all remember him from B2K, the boy band, or I won't say boy band, the boy group. He's known for his dancing and his vocals. He had the best vocals out of the group. So he had gone solo, I believe, in 2005. His debut album, I believe it was called O. So he was booked. You also had Sean Kingston, who was hot at the time. You also had Jay Holiday, so an R&B singer. So you had people who could turn up the spot. Omarion would kind of sex you up. Jay Holiday had just this really, honestly, this beautiful voice. So that was really cool. And then you had TOK. So we had dancehall, you had hip hop, you had R&B. Really great lineup for the BMO Music Fest. And then for the local nationals or the Japanese people there, you had this group called The Pump. They came out of Okinawa. They were kind of like a J-pop boy band, but also they had kind of like some hip-hop origin. So that was really cool to be part of that. So really great lineup. The previous year, 2008, while it was a really good lineup, it was solely dedicated to hip-hop. And there were some great artists that were part of the 2008, but I think in 2009 you had multiple genres. So you had the dancehall, like I mentioned, the hip hop and the R&B. I think more people would possibly come out for that rather than just being concentrated on hip hop. What was unique about this experience was, like I said, I harkened back to where my first concert booking was Ashanti. So I did evidently a fantastic job because from there, speaking with this promotion group, they decided to book me for multiple events going forward. But this particular party at Yokohama Bay Hall, I always want to make sure that I call out and I acknowledge those who have, guided me or helped me, or those who I've kind of plucked. How can I say? Remember Austin Powers, some of their mojo. Ever I do that, I will acknowledge, as I truly and honestly appreciate the guidance and the help that I got from this particular individual. There's a particular MC, his name is Mas Tucker or Masuda. He is, of course, he's Japanese, but he was a host MC also at the same time I was being an MC at these parties in Yokohama. I believe he was a former rapper, so he had the ability to speak to the crowd. He had a stage presence, and he had a really, really good rapport with certain DJs. They would really play well off one another. That's something that I would, take notice of, and I'd ask him about every now and then. He used to cut the music a lot. Like I said, he communicated with the DJs. So a lot of DJs around the world in the States, they MC on their own, but it's, we're kind of in a unique situation over here. A lot of the DJs don't actually MC at the same time. Let me bring you back even more years. I lived in Japan for a long time. Once again, I'm a military brat, proud military brat. I actually took Japanese for a number of years in high school, and I've been able to apply that over the years. So I would notice that Mas Tucker, I'm just gonna say Tucker from now on, all right? He would speak to the crowd in Japanese. He does speak English as well. I would kind of catch up on it, but then I just asked some of my friends, whether they're DJs or part of promotion, like, what is he saying while he was doing it? Of course, I would just go and ask him anyway afterwards, and they said he's telling a story of what's going on in the song. I knew it was working because when he would do it, he would get reactions from it. So that's kind of where my engaging with the customer and really focusing on what their interests are, that's where it comes from. So I was not only the host MC for the BMO Music Fest, it was also Masuda. Honestly, it was a smart move. I have two host MCs, one that is primarily gonna communicate in English and then one who's gonna communicate in Japanese. So we basically tag team. The night before, like I said, I had the hotel booked. We had a pre-party and Lil Jon was there. People showed up. A lot of people came out for that. I think they just rented out this particular venue and it was really kind of nice and upscale. You had to go underground to get there. There was a long line outside to get in. Lil Jon showed up, he did his thing, and I did my thing, making sure, of course, throughout the party to tell people, hey, the BMO Music Fest is tomorrow. All the artists will be there. They're all here. Of course, there were videos sent out beforehand. I was looking at some ones before I started recording this video. They're on YouTube, where TOK and I think Lil Jon and a couple others were sending out videos, acknowledging how excited they were to come to Japan and to perform in front of everybody. The welcome party was really neat, but then I had to get home, make sure I got some rest. This happened on June 18, 2009. It happened at 6 p.m. But this is actually the first time that, okay, I need to make it there early to be a part of the sound check. I've done a number of things when it comes to modeling where, they always want you to be there early, be on time, and there's always a lot of prep. There's just so much preparation. There's a lot of waiting that goes along. That's about the only thing I don't really particularly like about that industry, is that you just have to wait, and there's always a lot going on. Now, if you get there and you're the man or you're the woman, people are waiting for you. That's pretty cool. That's one thing I never really liked about the entertainment industry, is just it's a lot of waiting going on. But at the end of the day, when you get paid, you're just like, oh, maybe it was worth the wait. So we had to do sound check. So I want to say I got there like around 11, 12 o'clock. So 11 in the morning, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Got there. The artists are they've been there earlier than that. And they're doing their sound check. I think when I got there, I believe Pitbull and Lil Jon, they were doing their sound check. And because I could hear everything going on. So the sound people were there. Zepp Tokyo, if you're ever wondering, this is a concert venue. There's a number of Zepps around. This one, it's in Tokyo metropolitan area, and holds about a little over 2,500 people, if I'm correct. From my hotel in Roppongi, you have to get on the subway, and then you take the monorail to get there. And when I got there, it's pretty neat, because I didn't know who was actually going to be working it as far as the security. But when I got on the monorail, I saw the security was there, and I was like, oh shoot, what's up, bro? They said, oh man, oh, okay, you're going to be hosting and stuff? I said, yeah. I said, okay, all right, looks like people are in for a great time. I said, man, appreciate you guys for doing what you do. It's not just, about the MC, the DJ. It's about everybody, all right? It's a team. One band, one sound. Remember that from Drumline. One band, one sound. Or some people would say one team, one fight. I say one band, one sound. Shout out to Nick Cannon. Anyway, yeah, so that's really neat to see all the security guys there that I already know from all the venues that, because they got to make sure shenanigans don't happen. So, we get off the monorail, I get there, and then I'm in awe. This is my first time at Zepp Tokyo. They're doing the sound check. I meet up with the staff. They're like, okay, this is where you're going to be at. Now, Mass Tucker, he's already there. We kind of just come up with kind of like a schedule of, how we're going to play off one another, what we're going to do. Like I said, I've been to venues before, I've done parties before, but this is my first time doing something of this magnitude. And he has been a part of this before. He's had experience. So I just kind of picked his brain. I said, okay, so what's going to happen? What can I expect? And then he basically came out and said, we're going to come out and introduce them. We're going to get the crowd hyped. The sound people, they'll cue off of us. So there were certain cue points that we would communicate. And then they knew when to lower the music, or when to start the music, or when to lower the lights, put on the lights, put the spotlight on. Oh man, it was a tremendous experience. It's something that I wish going forward that I'll have more opportunities if we're ever to get back to normal. Hopefully we'll be able to get back to normal. So for the sound check, now mind you, this is the first time I've done the sound check like this. I get up on the stage and I'm looking, it's just completely empty. And this is like Yokohama Bay Hall, like to the umpteenth degree. So there's a space in between the stage where it's elevated. Off to the right, off to the left, you can see where the crowd can file in. Of course, there's kind of like places up in the rafters where you can see the crowd as well. So I'm just thinking automatically to myself, this is going to look absolutely amazing. And it's going to feel amazing when this place is completely packed full of people. But I got the mic. I know how my voice sounds like, but let me just hear it echo through this concert hall just to really see. I would say a few things, and then they said, okay, is there anything else that you want to practice or do? And I was like, honestly, I'm good. I have an idea of what I want to say, what I want to do. I did say Ohio, or are you ready for a party? Make some noise. A few practice things just to get in there. But I wasn't there for, a long time just doing the sound check. But finished up the sound check, and then we still had some time. So I want to say we had more than a few hours before the actual concert began. So me and Mass Tucker, we actually went out, and around the Zepp Tokyo area, they have some kind of arcades or a kind of amusement area. So we went there and we just used that time to kind of bond a little bit more and talk about what was going to happen, and use that opportunity as well to get to know each other, because yeah, we've emceed together before at a number of venues, but it's more or less we're just doing a job. We never really talked one-on-one. It just kind of be in passing. We use this time to kind of connect and get a rapport just as us as individuals before we get up on that stage and really rock. But after that, we got into the venue, and then I want to say about a couple hours before 6 p.m., people started to come in, people started to pile in, and you can kind of see what was going on. I mentioned this earlier in the previous episode, Let's Get It Started, when I was a host MC for the Ashanti concert, my first concert, and I've never been one to go out of my way to engage with an artist, because I'm there for a job. I'm there to host the event. I'm here to make sure the people in the crowd are having a good time. That is my job. If I have the opportunity to go ahead and connect with an artist for whatever particular reason, then I go ahead. My main thing was just to observe the crowd and who was coming in, what was the fan base that was there. Because I knew we had multiple genres, so I was like, okay, what am I going to use to connect to these different fan bases? I have like a bar set up. Every once in a while, people would go down there and get their drinks if there was like an intermission period or whatnot. But the concert started at 6 p.m. We went out to the stage. You talk about being under, a certain amount of pressure to perform a job. That was the first time in a while since I remember when I was in high school. I did a Black History Month report on the stage in the auditorium, and they had a spotlight on me. That was the last time I think I had a spotlight on me, and that was years before the BMO Music Fest. So we came out, and they would have the spotlight on both of us. And basically, we just came out. He did his thing in Japanese, but I came out immediately. And I believe this is the first time where I started saying Ohio and having people kind of yell back and scream Ohio back. There is a military influence there, but there's a large Japanese influence and international crowd there as well, with all the different genres. Came out immediately and say, hey, y'all ready for a party? If y'all ready for a party, let me hear you make some noise. And everybody just went crazy. And I'd be like, the left side sounds louder than the right side. What about the right side, the left side, the middle side? I need everybody to go ahead and put your hands up. I need you to scream if y'all want to hear these artists that's going to be coming out here right now. Y'all ready to make some noise right here, right now? I'm not going to introduce these artists until I hear y'all make some noise on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Everybody make some noise. And it just went absolutely bananas up in there. They was ready. And then from that point on, me and Tucker, we just basically played off one another. He basically did his version of that in Japanese, got them going, and then I did my version in English. And I started going from artist to artist. All right, this particular artist, you may have heard of him. He's formerly of B2K. If y'all ready to see Omarion, let me hear you say, oh. Everybody go, oh. If y'all ready for Omarion, let me hear you make some noise. Man. Sean Kingston. Y'all ready to hear Sean Kingston? When I say Sean, y'all say Kingston. Shaw, Kingston, Shaw, Kingston. Went like that all the way down. Pitbull, Lil Jon, Shaggy, The Pump, Jay Holiday. Introduced every single artist. Let them know every single artist that was performing tonight. And that also, of course, we appreciate you guys coming out. You spent your hard-earned money. We're going to make sure we add a little something to this, spice this up for you, because we know the artists are going to do their dang thing. We know they're going to do their dang thing. But we're just here to make sure you guys have a good time, all right? And then from there, we introduced the first artist. Forgive me, I don't remember who the first artist was. I just remember the experience and how I felt at that time and how I felt engaged with the crowd. I really feel like they were piped up. There was a time that they would perform. There was a person in the back who would be like, okay, so Omarion's gonna perform for this amount of time, so just make sure you're back at least 5 minutes before he's done so that we can go ahead and keep it moving smoothly, all right? It was my first time. I was kind of learning on the fly, but shout out to the staff who were there at that time that did an excellent job of qualifying me on the particular timing of the concert. So yeah, Omarion kind of sexed everybody up. Ladies were screaming his name and stuff like that. Nothing was thrown on stage, but he did his thing. Jay Holiday ended up coming back to Japan a number of times. I emceed a number of events. Other productions actually got him to provide some drops for me. So that was really neat, really cool. So big shout out to them for that. I was really excited to see Pitbull. And one thing I didn't know about the performance, there was a band there. And Pitbull performed with the band, and then Lil Jon, they actually did performances together. And I was not ready for that. I didn't know. So I was just like, oh shoot, Lil Jon and Pitbull on the stage together? Because they had a number of songs. For those that remember Lil Jon, he had songs with Pitbull, a few on his albums. But yeah, they performed together. So Lil Jon had a crunk. Pitbull, with his Cuban American style of music, it was very energizing to see Pitbull on stage and how he was moving and how he was interacting, and all the artists just moving, because the stage is just massive. It's massive. So you got to really be able to own what is going on and what you're doing. And they did a fantastic job. We did have some dance hall in here. So you had TOK. They did their thing. Oh my gosh, that was wild. That was really neat to see. That was my first experience seeing dancehall or reggaeton live. And, it was just truly a privilege and an honor to be able to be the one to introduce them. So you just imagine what I could say, like I said earlier in the episode. And I had people yelling TOK, T.O.K, reggae, dancehall. It was just an amazing time. But one thing that did happen, this ultimately kind of helped solidify me as just an MC. So one thing about being an MC you have to know how to do is you have to know how to fill space, especially when the music drops. You can really tell how good or how great an MC is when something goes wrong. Because if something goes wrong, like if you're at a concert venue or if you're at a club or what have you, and there's some type of technical difficulties, the DJ's up there and the sound people are trying to get the music going, just whispers, you just hear the crowd murmuring over what's going on. That's the time for the MC. I've always felt like that's my time. It's my time to fill this gap. I have to make sure that I connect with them. Once again, we appreciate you guys for coming out. The bar is still open. If you are interested, get to the bar, get your drink, get back. We'll make sure we have the music ready for you. Anything you can do and you can use to, keep people kind of interested in what's going on. Now, if it happens too many times, it is what it is. And you have to kind of be self-aware. And it's like, hey, we're going to get this fixed. A true testament to how good or how great an MC is what they can do with that amount of downtime where the music stopped or you're kind of like at a crossroads, like, what do we do now? And this actually happened at the 2009 BMO Music Fest. I'm not being too opinionated with some of the things. I'm basically just telling you what happened from my perspective, all right? Now, if you want to comment on this YouTube video, or if you want to send me a direct message, or if you want to see me in passing and say, well, oh man, I don't remember when that happened. This is what happened. That's cool. But I'm not here to knock anybody. I'm not here to put anybody on the spot. I'm just basically, telling you how I saw things from my perspective. So what happened at the venue is that there's a particular artist, Kingston, was due to come on and perform, all right? So Kingston is a notable artist. At the time he had just kind of come out. He had a number of hit songs, dancehall, reggaeton, was kind of pop as well. He was supposed to come on and he was late. And it's one thing to be late, but I'm talking about I want to say, goodness gracious, I don't want to be wrong. It seemed like he was about 30 to 45 minutes late. And we were just all in the back after, the previous artist. I can't remember if it was Jay Holiday or Amarion or whatnot. I came out, we were just like, all right, stay tuned. We're going to have a short intermission. And, Kingston will be coming up. And from there, people go and they get their drinks. They start conversating. There's a lot of potential. If you don't remember what the potential is, go back to my previous episodes, all right? There's a lot of potential in this venue. So now you have time to kind of go around and conversate and do what you do. The intermission turned into like a halftime show. Typically, each intermission would probably be maybe 5 to 10 minutes. This was, I want to say, 30 or more minutes where people were just kind of waiting. So 5 or 10 minutes just patiently waiting. Beyond that, you're just like, what the heck is going on? Like, where is this person at? So me, Tucker, and the DJ who was there to kind of pass the time and get people amped back up into this next artist that's about to come up, let's turn it into a club for like 15-20 minutes. Let's really turn this spot up, because look, they paid their hard-earned money, and they ain't paid their hard-earned money to just sit there and wait for the artist and be like, what's going on? People start yelling, hey, where's the artist at? What's going on? Yeah, we didn't want all that. So we made a command decision. Hey, this is what we're gonna do. So DJ got behind the tables. We grabbed the mics. I think there was one or two of this particular dance group. They're all Japanese. They're real cool guys. They were known for dancing at Yokohama Bay Hall on the stage, and they knew all the dances. Around this time, you had like Soulja Boy. He had his own dance, and they knew all the dances at the time. So they would perform them on stage. You know, you had Young Jock who came out and stuff like that. So they'd be jocking. They had like choreographed like routine club dances. So that was really neat. But they were there at the time, and they were just supporting the event. We were just like, look, let's turn this into Bay Hall. Let's turn the spot up. DJ got behind the tables, like I mentioned, and then we absolutely turned that spot up. I mean, it was amazing. And I'm just not saying this because I was the MC. I'm saying this because people told me after the event, they told me during the event, during other intermissions, because I would go out not into the crowd, but I would go out into the area where you can get your drinks and kind of just take a break and just be amongst all the hoopla of, you know, whether or not people enjoyed what was going on. And overwhelmingly, people were having a great time. One of the songs that I remember a lot of people took to was What You Know About with T.I. Rocking that stage from left to right. People were yelling my name. I was yelling at them, and everybody was dancing. It looked like a huge club. And I told him, I said, hey, look, you know, Sean Kingston is on his way. Before he gets here, how about you say we listen to some music? We turn this spot up. Let's go ahead and do the dang thing. We're going to make sure we have a good time. Move your body, dance. This is what we got to do. So we did that for about 15 to 20 or so minutes, where basically it turned into our show. This girl that I know, she told me, yeah, it kind of turned into your show. And basically, from our perspective, giving you some internal information, we basically just used that to kill the time. Because like I said, the last thing we wanted to have was, you know, people just standing around with the lights out and not knowing what's going on. We used that intermission as a halftime show, turned up the spot, played all the latest and greatest hits for that 2009 time frame, and then finally, Sean Kingston showed up once again. I don't know what it was, whether he was sick, whether he was upset, whether he woke up late, who knows. But he showed up and he put on a show, and then we went about our business. I didn't get into all that. Like I said, I was there to do a job, and I did it. TOK came out, they did their thing. Everybody, all the artists did their thing. One thing I did want to mention when I knew I was going to be a host MC, I had always watched like MTV, and I've seen other artists or actors or whatnot. They would host concerts, and you know, they had a wardrobe. Each and every time they come out, they had a different set of clothing. So I thought it was cool to do that. I actually came to the venue with a suitcase. A small suitcase. No, it wasn't small. It was kind of big. I got there, and the head promoter for Positive Productions, his name was Mo. He was just like, what is that? It's my wardrobe. He's like, you think you're a star, huh? Here's this shirt, homie. You're going to wear that throughout the day and throughout the night. I was just like, oh, okay. I brought all these clothes for this particular event. I didn't wear now one of them. Not one of them. I had about seven outfits because there were 6 different artists. I figured, okay, I'm going to come out. I'm going to wear an outfit for when I introduce all of them. Go back, change, introduce artist number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so I'm going to do like 7 outfits. So I had 7 outfits that I didn't even use. All I did is just take off my shirt, put on the BMO Music Fest, which by the way fit very, very well. This is what the picture looks like. I've probably been showing it throughout this video, but it's a picture of me and Tucker. And I believe you can kind of tell what song they were playing during that time. This is actually during the time we were turning up the spot. So big shout out to that particular photographer who was able to capture that experience in that moment. And I use that on my website and a number of like imagery that I used to promote for myself. That was really interesting. It's like, you think you're a star? Nah. BMO Music Fest is the name of the event. So that's what's on the shirt. That's what you wear. And of course I got to keep it. And everybody there had that on too. So yeah, no lone wolves. No lone wolf. I thought I was a lone wolf. I can be special and cool. I still was special and cool because of a unique opportunity that I had, but I didn't get a chance to wear that wardrobe, which in a nutshell and kind of going back on it, it just would have been so much to change, like that. Goodness gracious. It was so much easier to just introduce, energize people, and then go to the back and just chill out until the next artist was lined up to come out. In hindsight, well worth it to do it that way. But the BMO Music Fest was a tremendous time and a tremendous opportunity for me. After I did the event, I remember speaking to the promotion group, and they asked me just out of the blue, hey, you want to go with us to Okinawa? And I was just like, why are you asking me this now? Why didn't you ask me this before? I cleared my schedule for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I had already had things lined up for Saturday, Sunday. When I say that, I had to work. Hey, if you wanted me to go, you should have asked me in the first place. I would have completely cleared my schedule. I'd have cleared it from Wednesday to Sunday. But the BMO Music Fest was basically a huge stepping stone for me being part of my promotion group, because my promotion group was there, and support for the concert. We helped push out information to our followers, and a lot of our followers actually came to the concert. That process happened for every promoter that was involved with that. I gained a lot more followers from this time. What is it that you do? Where are you from? So a lot more interest kind of came from this. So the BMO Music Fest was a great launch pad for me. I was actually able to host the next year, which was in 2010. I'll talk about that in episode number 5. So after the BMO Music Fest was done, after it wrapped up, we let everybody know, thanks for coming out. It was on a Thursday night. So in the previous episode, when I told you I used to go out in the Tokyo metropolitan area before I got into party promotion, one venue I used to go to was 99, which is from the Gas Panic chain of night spots. So it was Thursday night. I didn't have anything going on Friday. Everybody went out to 99 and had a good old time. And then the next day, once again, I was just free. Let me show you something real quick. So almost every single time that I'm recording, I have my dog. His name is Kiwi. He's up here just kind of chilling out right next to me, just letting me do my thing. But evidently, he wants some attention. So I'll have him up on here for just a little bit, all right? Once again, so hey, Kiwi, say hello, world. Say hello, YouTube. Hello, how you guys doing? If you're listening on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or Apple Podcasts, I do have my small dog up here, Kiwi. He's a Pomeranian. He's just lovely and adorable. He's a little fluff ball. But anyway, okay, you can go now, all right, buddy? Yeah, so big shout out to Kiwi. Zep Tokyo was a launch pad for me because then I was kind of given the reins as far as being an MC, okay? If you need to touch the equipment, go ahead and touch the equipment. Always been self-aware to know, okay, it's the DJ's equipment. I'm not the DJ. Let me be self-aware. Have there been times where I may have gone a little overboard? Yes, especially when you're in that club setting. Sometimes juices get flowing, and sometimes you do a little bit too much. But for the most part, people enjoy what I do, and I think I've done a great job. But that's pretty much what I experienced and how it was at Zep Tokyo. Once again, Zep Tokyo holds over 2,500 people. Just the sheer amount of people in that crowd, whether you're looking up in the rafters, from left, the middle to the right. I remember seeing some of the promoters there, and I remember one of them saying, hey, say this. They're telling me to say like their particular promotion group, and I was just like, let me stay humble and not do that. Let me concentrate on just what is going on with the crowd. There's so many artists, so it's not like I have a cue card in front of me. I had to go out there and just kind of remember, all right, this artist is coming out first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and I want to be able to say this. And I knew I was getting a very good rapport from the crowd because they started to anticipate what I was saying. I would say, let me get a hell yeah, certain things I could use to interact with them. And then I would go back to previous things I would say, and then they would just say it back. When I say Lil, you say John. Lil, John, Pit, Bull. And then I would go Sean. They would say Kingston. I'd go back to Lil. They say John. They were trained on what to say. So I knew I had them engaged in what was going on. They were very excited. In the promotion, they recognized that, and they said I did a fantastic job with the booking. They were happy that I was able to come out, and that really helped out as far as me having success going forward with a number of venues and just being able to get gig after gig after gig up until now, which is 2020. That's about it for episode number 4. Once again, this is the BMO Music Fest 2009. Tremendous performances by everybody involved. Some would say I did a tremendous job projecting my voice, connecting to the crowd. Big shout out to Mass Tucker for doing his thing and guiding me along, being another person that guided me along this tremendous journey that I've been able to experience in the land of the rising sun, Tokyo, Japan, or wherever I have been. Just amazing. Kiwi wanted to come back and say hi. He keeps on scratching at me. He's like, hey, I want some attention. Let's go outside. Yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody for subscribing to my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, you can search me inputting Emcee Ricky. That's EMCEERICKY, not RICKEY. You can put that in a Google search. You can put that in Spotify. You can put that in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and of course on YouTube. My channel is called Ricky Ricardo. But if you put Emcee Ricky in there, you'll see the Life of the Party podcast with Emcee Ricky come up. And you can see me with this nice dynamic background that I have, So episode number 4 is officially a wrap. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for tuning in. This is your boy Emcee Ricky. Osukai sama deshita. I'll see you guys in the future. Ohayo. Ohayo. Ohayo gozaimasu.